self. You can more and more participate, co-create with your brain self, with your, in a sense, lower consciousness, shall we say, or person consciousness, or I am here now consciousness. But for most people, this has been given away completely to quote-unquote their higher self, their higher consciousness. Consciousness has infinite levels as well. So you're experiencing yourself at the level that you assume yourself to be at. If you start assuming yourself to be at a very, very high level of consciousness, you will start to actually become that level of consciousness. And you will start to be able to influence your particular timeline. Not your time, but your timeline. The illusion of a timeline that you generate by going from this picture to that picture, back to this picture, to that picture, to that picture, that. You see, that one particular line literally is your timeline, based on every slide that you chose. If you chose one image next to it, and then 2 images next to the next one, and then 3 images next to the one that you otherwise would have chosen, then your timeline would have looked different. Maybe slightly so, but still. 100% so from the reality of the picture itself. You had chosen a 100% different reality. If you choose picture B, which is right next to picture A, and all that's different is the placement of one single atom. From the position, from the place, from the vantage point of that reality itself, that is still 100% completely independent reality from the other reality that has all the similar frequencies except for that one atom. It's still a 100% different reality. You could take one over to China and one to the other end of the galaxy. They would still exist as their own selves. They have no structural relationship whatsoever. Your past has no structural relationship to your present whatsoever. 5 seconds ago has no relationship to this second whatsoever. My hand is not over here because it came from here. My hand is always going to be over here. And here it's always going to be over here. And here it's always going to be over here. And it was never moving. It was never on its way from here to here. I shifted my consciousness to this reality, and then the one where it's timelessly here, then timelessly here, then timelessly here, then timelessly here, then timelessly here. So you could call these the flickers of reality, the flickering on and off of reality. And there's even sciences or scientists and ancient yogis and rishis that have said the same thing. They say that basically the universe turns on and off in terms of consciousness. It turns on and off all the time, but so fast, it's like a flickering light switch. But it happens so fast that we do not perceive it. So in one moment, one potential configuration of energy becomes active. And then the very next nanosecond, another potential reality becomes active. Just imagine literally taking the light switch of this room and going so fast to the point where all you see is continuous light. But really that's not what's happening. And you can see that with certain types of light, where the frequency of it going on and off is so low that you have a sense, you even get a headache sometimes, you have a sense of it flickering in and out. Or all television screens, where the hertz is at a lower frequency than you can perceive, you will see that half of the time there is no reality, there is no experience, there's no light. And then half the time it's on again, off, on, off, on, off, off. Similarly, if you increase your frequency, your perceptual frequency, you will start to discover more of the illusion of the flickering in and out of existence of your higher self's creation. Does that make sense? Awesome. Okay.
Can you repeat that?
Yes, I can. Yes. Nice. Me too. What did I say? Oh yes, the flickers.
But the higher self.
Yes. Thank you. So when you increase your perceptual frequency, the vibration, the vibratory state of your now, when you increase that vibration, which to us is known, physically speaking, as happiness, as joy, as excitement, as bliss, as ecstasy, as inspiration, as creativity, as feeling like you're on top of life instead of underneath it. So anything that, in that sense, gives you a great sense of joy is anything that aids you in increasing your vibration, your vibratory state, your vibrational attitude. When your vibrational attitude increases, literally what happens is that your supposed point on the ladder of infinite levels of consciousness, where you place yourself, goes up the ladder, goes up the ladder, goes up the ladder. And every step that you take higher, every time you increase your frequency or your vibration in that sense, those are just words, but feel into what I'm saying. Every time you expand yourself, every time you know yourself to be more God and less victim, more creator and less slave, more on top of life and less underneath some kind of heavy piano, you change the frequency literally of your proposed consciousness to become more of another level of consciousness which also already existed, was also already operational, but you simply were not aware of it from your point of I am, from your sense of identification of who you are. So every time you increase that, you start to see a new reality, a different reality, and you start to gain access to more and more of your innate power to actually influence your reality. This, as long as you suppose yourself to be the victim, as long as you assume yourself to be the victim, you will only get victim power, which is very limited. It's intelligent. Higher consciousness will never give full creation power to the victim, because it would destroy the universe, in a sense. It would go mad, it would go crazy. But if you increase your frequency to the God level that you already are, then you can start to see some real changes in your life and in your ability to actually positively affect the course of your timeline, extract more benefit from the experiences that you've already generated for yourself, increase the speed at which you move through your theme, through your lifetime's theme of exploring a certain kind of idea, which is why you're here, to explore something, to become something, to express something, to share something, to learn something. Now, the more you assume yourself to be the victim of your own creation, the more static you'll be, like ice. The more you increase your frequency, as the molecules start heating up and they start dancing in the ice, it starts to melt. And the H2O becomes more malleable, becomes more empowered. Similarly, when you increase your frequency and your molecules start dancing up and down with joy, with excitement, with passion, with knowing that you're God, knowing that you are the creator of your reality, knowing that you are the chooser of your universe, knowing that you are the eternal now, which is in total control of its next picture, then you start to become more empowered to actually make changes until you turn into steam, in a sense, which represents non-physical consciousness, which represents much more full remembrance of who you actually are, what you're here to do, and you can then move faster, move faster. Ice cannot move fast. Have you ever seen a glacier move? Yeah? No? Oh, it's pretty, thank you, yeah. Oh yeah, it's pretty slow. So, have you ever seen steam move? It's pretty fast. It can go anywhere. Similarly, you can start to move really fast, meaning that you start to learn from your lessons because you gain access to higher intelligence, higher form of reasoning. Your mental body becomes the higher mental body, in a sense. You start to understand things. You can start to see things from a higher, grander perspective, and so things fall into place that much quicker for you. You can see a certain scenario with certain people in it, and certain emotions or thoughts arise in yourselves and in them, and in an instant you can know what's going on. You don't have to figure it out. You don't have to think it through. In an instant, you know what's happening, and so you can move on to the next thing. What is the solution? In an instant, you know what the solution is. Well, how should I behave right now to most positively accommodate this scenario of these 10 people's dynamics? And you got the answer. That's how you do it. And then that, and then that, and then that. So you learn super fast. You act super fast. You act in an empowering way, in a beneficial way. You start to actually become intelligent, as man is supposed to be. You become less and less like a sheep, and more like a lion, an intelligent one, like a leopard. You become intelligent. You become fast. You're no longer helpless. You're actually creating. And you're actually being of benefit to yourself and everyone else, rather than just unconsciously going about your day, being schlepped around by your thoughts, by your emotions, by your vibrations, not knowing who you are, sending out to the universe, to your creation, all kinds of mixed ideas and frequencies, not having a clue of what you're here for, which is all fine and perfect. And no one is necessarily to blame for that. There's no blame. There's no judgment. But it is helpful to observe this and to let that inspire you to say no to that mode of being. And this all depends on how much you care about your existence. If you don't care very much, then that's fine. Then you can keep being sheep-like. You can keep being a victim. However, if you care about being alive, if you're excited about the potential that this incarnation, that this creation offers you, then you start thinking, then you start asking questions, then you start coming to meetings like these. And then when a little brat like me tells you that maybe there is an even higher step you can take for yourself, you take it. You fucking take it. Because you care about your life. Because you care about not just going through it unconsciously with the biases that you've been taught by society and what's moral, what's not moral, what your daddy taught you, what your mommy taught you, living in fear of rejection and living in the seeking of love. You start actually acting consciously and you start actually taking control of your own vibratory state. And when you do that, life becomes enjoyable. Becomes fun. How fun would it be to wake up every day? So this is the old life, right? How fun is it really to wake up every day and to be put in your hand, there's placed a pencil, and you are drawn to your canvas, and then somebody else is drawing with your hand, and you just are forced to look at it until you go to bed. There's no food, nothing. And you don't like anything you see. It's like, who the fuck is this artist? You can't do shit. But, oh well, I don't know who I am, so fuck it. I don't care about my life. I'll just go sit on the couch if I can. Okay. How fun is that? Is that fun? Are you enjoying what you see that you pretend you're not creating? That invisible hand is your hand. It does not exist. You're drawing. But you don't realize that you have the power to create whatever you want. You can suddenly stop the pencil, pick a different color, and draw all over your previous creation. Now, how fun would it be to wake up every day and to choose whether or not you feel like painting? And if you choose that you want to paint that day, you pick up the pencil that you prefer, the one that actually feels like it suits your mood, and then you start dipping into colors that you like, and then you start painting the shapes that you like. And you can take a break whenever you want to. You can go have some food. You don't have to look at it all the time. You can go call your mom again if you want to. And get back to your painting. Now, if your life is your canvas, if this is really true what I'm saying, and it is, whether you believe it or not, then you can actually start to generate a reality of your desire, of your preference, of your alignment, of your truth, of your theme. Not yet, but thank you. Can you save your question? Soon. Oh, you were just...
No, I'm with you.
Awesome. Nice. Thank you. Yes. Oh, as soon as I'm ready, I have a question. Okay. Not yet, but thank you. Hold on to that. So, one thing that's very crucial to understand is that you're constantly sending out a message. I know this sounds sort of new agey, but it's true. You constantly send out a message. To what? To yourself, to your creation, to the mirror that reflects you. You're constantly shaping the mirror that reflects you. So you got to be a little bit mindful of what you're sending out right now. What are you thinking right now? You'd be surprised how unconscious people are of what they're thinking on a daily basis. Or maybe you're not, because maybe you're one of them, I don't know. Maybe you don't see it. But as soon as you start increasing your consciousness, your level of consciousness, you see everyone just be sheep-like. They have no idea what they're thinking. They have no idea